G'day everyone, Steel Horse here, welcome along, welcome to our stream today. Hope you are all doing particularly well after this weekend. I can see you there, John, great to have you in. I hope you've cooked yourself something wonderful for breakfast. Now, where are we? We need to be clicking on that button there. And we might head across to the Oaks and see what is happening. So, I have just got this guy going. He needs some more seed because he's doing the sunflower contract. We jump across. What are you up to? You look like you're about to turn that corner. You have some seeds. Whoa, that was interesting and exciting. How did that happen? Now we've got to remember how to get rid of that. That's better. That's what happens when the steering wheel decides all of a sudden it's been behaving beautifully and now it decides that it's gonna have 100% return spring. Right, let's see if that is a bit better. That feels a lot better. Now, as you can see, we've got a little bit more cash in the bank. I've moved us along. We're at the start of April. Don't want last waypoint. Let's just go with nearest waypoint. How's that sound? And if we're lucky, that'll do. You can fill up over there. Now let's see here. You need some liquid fertilizer. You are full. What are you working on? We haven't got you working on anything. Let's send one of the kids out to the next contract. So 58 is progressing. Let's see here, fertilizing on field 6 and field 11. Let's do 6 first, I think. Why not? Oh no, actually, where's 11? Oh, no, they're much of a muchness, aren't they? Why don't you go to field 11? 11 east. Sounds like a good plan. So if we get everybody going, then we can think about what the big plan for the day is. The key question, I think, is do we... It was over here. So we've rolled into April, but much to my surprise, this grass is still not fully grown. I can get a cut off it. But I was expecting, having rolled it, that we would, same here, we would be able to take another cut now. And let's just, that's not where I want to be. Oh, goodness me. All we're doing is getting stuck in the wall now. What's this field around here? Same situation. So all the grass fields are kind of one growth stage short of their best yield, which I don't think they'll... Well, actually, what we could do, I've just noticed we're actually at the end of April 1st. I wonder if that means if I roll over to the next day, that they'll be fine. Maybe we should just bump the clock forward. And take the punt. I'm kind of thinking that might be the best strategy. What's the downside of doing that? It's not going to affect any of the contracts we're working on. We can still plant everything we want to plant in the second day in April. So let's go forward. So what is actually on for your English breakfast there, John? I'm guessing that tea is probably somewhere in the equation. Let's have a look what these animals are doing just for a sec. So they're all fine. They've got plenty of stuff. So we still didn't get it. That's annoying. This grass just doesn't want to grow. So what I think we'll do is go and grab the crone and we'll at least cut these fields. Yep. It's almost like rolling the field slowed it down a stage, and if we hadn't done the other field as a bit of a control, it'd be easy to draw that conclusion, because we last cut it in October, which is ridiculous. Oh, what's that doing there? How all of a sudden... Why is my camera all the way over there? That's very bizarre. Get rid of that. Well, sounds like a good way to start the day. Oh, there's a straw bale I hadn't noticed that we left in the hedge there that we dropped off before. That'll be from our danger load the other day. Let's run around this one, because I think we've got to get our crop in the ground. Is pick this lot up, so this will do. So in addition to finishing off a couple of the contracts we were working on last time, I also ferried the silage out of the bunker to the market, so that's what was behind the recovery in our cash position, and so we're well on track to having the funds or the field up by the cow farm if we want. Yeah, I suspect you're, well, it was clear that you were on the right track there, John. I just don't want to wait that long. Why is the radio playing? I don't use the radio. It shouldn't be on. How is it magically enabled itself? What's that? Game. What's the settings for the radio? I've got no. How can the radio be on? It's very strange. Tractor symbol. Right. Let's get this sorted out. Because we know that we don't have a drill to be able to put tractor symbol in the menu. Vehicle control. Ain't on there. I thought it was here. Radio range. Radio should be off. So why was it coming up at the top of the... Makes no sense that it flashed at the top of the screen. The only thing I've changed is I've put the mod in that shows you what year you're in. It looks like I'm turned off now, but I was on before because it flashed across the... You got that pop-up at the top of the screen in the center that was the song that was playing, so it was very odd. Never mind, we will continue. And the other thing I've added is this mod. It just gives you a little bit extra info in the bar at the top. And what I'm finding curious is it's telling me we're in year 4. I would have guessed we were only in year 3 on here. Let's just have a look. Statistics, time played, years. Oh no, thinks we're in year 4. Okay. I am way off the mark tonight. Must have been that rain at Monaco. Can I jump out? Of the vehicle and in. So maybe I've got to turn it off. No. Oop. But I will need to turn the mower back on. It was really quite weird because I'd done a couple of things just to get the seeding vehicles running, so I don't understand why all of a sudden it appeared. It was a pretty horrible race. The last 10 laps were kind of interesting, and as we were plumping for when we discussed it last week, qualifying yesterday was fabulous. I really thought Alonso had gotten himself on pole there for a second, but all credit to Max. I haven't heard any discussion of it or read any analysis, but I'd love to know whether it was Max or his strategy team that figured out where to get that time in the qualifying lap, because it was quite clear that he ran 3 laps in qualifying 3. The first one he did a much the same pattern as he'd done for the first 2 qualifyings, and then he made a very deliberate change in his second timed lap, and he found a heap of time in the last sector, and then he came out for his third one, and of course that won him the pole back. And so I can only conclude from watching it that he changed where he was applying the boost, so he backed off a little bit in the first couple of sectors. He was still going quick, but he wasn't using it to set purples, and he was holding back some that he used through the last sector, and that's where he found the time. So however it was determined, it was a pretty amazing effort. Unless, of course, that was the plan all the way along, that he would just... But it was still a significant thing to do. Yeah, well, there were... You know, there's not really any dead wood on the Red Bull pit wall. They don't tolerate second best particularly well. We're eating through this pretty quickly, which is good. So the other interesting decision that we've got today will probably make you smile, John, and all those that are lurking in the background will pick this up afterwards. That's true, but it was just to my watching, it was too obvious a difference. They did something very differently for those last 2 qualifying laps. So if we jump across to the store and have a look here, there's nothing in particular there that's of interest except the success. So as best I can determine, this is a big brother to the one that we picked up the other day. And it's 62% off and with only 33 hours on it. I'm very tempted. The cotton harvester's no use to us. And we've already got enough planters. So the big advantage of this guy is that he has a lot more capacity at 43, more horsepower, and so he'll drive a bigger header. Yep, I assure you I have done no playing with it. It was completely random. The game's just throwing it at us. But it does make me wonder, given we own the sugar factory and we're heading in this direction, even though we've got one, it kind of feels like we should buy the second one while the opportunity presents, because, you know, if you... This is the one we've got. Well, I'm wondering if we in fact work two. All right, because we would only get... it only values the one we've got at 84 grand. And so selling it for 84 grand in the scheme of things, it strikes me we're better off. I mean, you couldn't buy a trail, you can't buy the trailed one for that price. So it sort of feels like it's better to have two in the shed. And then the advantage that gives us is not only can we get the 3 fields that we're planting for ourselves, but it means we can pretty much tackle most of the contracts for beets that come up while we're, over the next couple of years, expand our own ability, and we could even potentially plant the big fields next year, is what I'm thinking. And if you think about it, if we had just... Yeah, well, so that price for ours, because I think when you buy second hand, it automatically, to stop you trading them too much, it automatically then depreciates at 50% in your inventory. So we paid 170 something, or 160 something, I think, when we bought it. So it was a little lower than I expected, but I'm feeling like that the success, though, you just can't go past it. I was very surprised when I saw a second one come up in the sale, that's for sure. And if you look at where I started to compare, so well, these are the contracts we've got underway at the minute. There's enough contract value to pay for it. So as long as a couple more contracts came up in May, we should still be able to get the field we want, is my thinking. We can afford it outright. We've got 427k in the bank, so and I guess the other way to look at it, and I realise I'm very much sort of talking myself into it. We can sell one of them at any time. So if ultimately we decide that having two doesn't work for us or is overkill, we can always sell the second one. Or the Panther. I mean, it's not going to depreciate much off that 84 now. And we've still got 6 months to find the money to buy 2 headers. So I think I've pretty much talked myself into it, to be honest. No problem. There is 427,000 on that side of the screen. So I think what I'm going to do is jump in and buy it before Mark comes. We will put GPS on it. And we'll leave the wheels exactly as they are. There we go. We now own from nowhere. We're now cornering the sugar market. You get down there with your wings out? Yes, you will. Whoa! Let's try not to do that. It's not good for that. This will be done in a sec. We need to move you. Right. Ah, yes, it is. I assume you're referring to the one near the chicken coop. That one should be fully grown. We'll send the crone up there after. I'll just get this off here quickly so that I can then go and get a cultivator going. That's a very good point. That's the other thing. There's also a bunch more eggs there that need to be sold. I was going to do that towards the end if I had time. Financially, we're sort of getting things sorted. I wouldn't mind picking up a few more cows, although it's not the highest priority. Zip down there. And I think this machine's a good example of, you know, why taking advantage of the sales when they pop up is the right thing to do, because it gives us such big steps forward. It's actually quite interesting how few tractors are coming up. But we haven't had a, that I can recall, a particularly big tractor. Or maybe it was the Fent 1000 on here, or was that on the other one? Oh, that's good. Thank you. I am enjoying... Oh, there is a field being auctioned. I did have a look at that when I saw that message before. I'll cover that in a minute. I am very much enjoying the valley. I'm trying to experiment with a few different things just to see what combination works. But thank you for watching. I'm glad you like it. It's one of those situations where, having set myself a whole bunch of targets, I oscillate privately between, yeah, that okay makes sense, I think I can sort that out, to, oh crap, I might have made that a bit hard. So we'll just have to see how it pans out. It's certainly not going to be easy. It's not a given. Oh, geez, I just misjudged that, didn't I? Zoom around there. Yeah. Well, we'll get a couple of did you fold up? There we go. Now we should be able to send you oh, what's that over there? Right. Now we want you to go to Coop 1 Park. It'd be as good a spot as any. And you need to back up a little. And we better check in on our seeders. Seem to be managing. I haven't yeah, exactly. It's like, which of the kids wasn't paying attention? And why are you stuck there? Right. Don't know why you did that, but you did. And now you can... You've been there. Go to there. Come on. $58 north is sunflowers, isn't it? Let's just check I'm sending into the right spot. That'll be, yeah. So you should be fine. I did tidy the yard up a bit, although autodrive has been doing definitely some odd things. Now, let's see. Let's get some grass picked up. Go inside. That field's all fine and good to go. I have planted the new field. What was it? 64. So that's all done. That just needs to be fertilized. Yeah. You picking up there? Yes, you are. Good. We have silage additives, so that's all good. Now that's what I was going to look at. The auction is on this field here. Field 72, and if we have a look at it, it's a pretty crappy field. It's only worth, well, the auction value is only at 54,000 at the minute. But I can't see any reason why we would buy it given the position of our holdings. So we're going to let that one go. It's still going to be a week until, or 7 days until the auction finishes. So gosh, it's interesting how much less grass you get when it's only the first growth stage. Just used to this filling up so much faster. Never mind. Down you go. No, it's not a Putney field, that one. Now, if it was the field opposite the barn there, that'd be a different story. I think that's got to be our next one. It's either this field, 64, and I am keen to get 28, particularly as it's got corn in it, which we could then immediately forage, harvest. So plenty of things to aim for. Now, why hasn't field 58 changed? That suggests that field 58 oh, that's where I just dispatched him to. At 46, 48's working fine. Right. Okay, so 58 we'll get to In fact, he might have found himself there. Good. We'll see if he manages to start on his own. I sent that fertilizer to field 6, didn't I? Might need to jump over there and see what's happening in a sec. Jumping across the field. Managed to cut the corner there and leave a big lump in the corner, didn't I? So let's pick up a little bit here. There we go. Bit of glare on the windscreen and all. Do you have plans for the summer, John? Do you usually get away? No, it's not rain, it's just a grubby windscreen. The dirt smears are very well done in this model. Let's see here. Can we pick this lot up? Yes, we're a bit in the same boat. Well, that'll be fun. Yeah, we're in the process of planning a bit of a trip to what used to be Eastern Europe, so Croatia and Slovenia, Slovakia, Hungary, all places we haven't been before. So that might be a bit of fun. the increase in prices since the last time we visited Europe. Looks a bit like a horror movie, but we'll figure it out, I guess. Yeah, let's just get these last couple of stripes. And then we can potentially get... I'm going to need to cultivate it, I think. Yeah, it's I think it's a combination of a couple of things. Because the airline industry, and particularly internationally, effectively shut down for a couple of years, near enough. So much capacity was taken out of the market, and the airlines that survived lost big heaps of dollars, so that when things have started back up, they've all been really cautious at how they bring capacity back online. And my understanding, particularly for the long-haul aircraft that were packaged up and parked in the desert, it's a near enough a 90-day process to bring an aircraft back up to specifications for commercial travel. And so all of that is contributing to the slow rate of return of capacity, because they're not kind of holding off commissioning aircraft until they know they're full. And of course, you know, air travel's always been a yield business, so they also keep the Lanzarote. Where is Lanzarote? I have not heard of it. Feels like something I should know. Right, I think we've got all of the grass we're going to get off here. I might go and empty you actually before we start next door. Canary Islands. I have never been to the Canary Islands. Is that somewhere I should put on my list? Swing. Keep swinging. Jason Rowe. Whoop. Got to remember when I look forward that it immediately switches the action on my wheel. Yes, I know where they are, John. I just not been there. Might have to. Well, it won't be this trip. I think we'll have our hands full with what we've got. It may need... I don't know. I've probably got a button which allows me to change that. I just don't know what it is. I can look down. No. Don't know. Maybe I've got to be outside to shut the... Who knows? Who knows? Let's just look around there. It's only the left door. Right, so what we'll do is pull you forward a bit and pick that lot up. That is true. Let's jump. Let's do a couple of things. We don't want that one. You are not where you're supposed to be. You're not even really... That sounds good. We just like getting to different spots to see what it's like in, you know, other places. Now, can you get there? Okay, you're trundling along nicely. You, I don't want to pick up for the minute. You're doing a good job. And you're the one we want to get started. Field 11, this is a big field. So let us pick up and deliver. Load liquid fertilizer, that's what we want. And you need to do that because we'll do... Field shape's not too bad, so I find 2 works particularly well. Let's see how we go here. It's down in front of us. Let's turn you off. There we go. First waypoint. You should do just nicely from there. What you want? Yeah, the plan for our trip at this stage is to meet up with my wife's sister and her family in Croatia for a couple of weeks and get a house, so that will be nice. And then we'll travel after that. Jason, there's our new purchase. I couldn't resist. I might as... It came up second hand at a ridiculous price in the sale, and I decided that the one that we bought the other day would be lonely if it had to sit in the shed on its own. So we'll send him a partner. You need to go to Equipment Park 1. Here you go. Okay, you're sort of there. Oh, wrong one. Why did I just assume I was in the correct vehicle? How did you manage to get yourself stuck like that? I figured I'll it's a very good point, John. This guy has managed to wedge himself in beautifully. We'll just do a 47-point turn to unstick ourselves. Never ceases to amaze me with the physics. The way it is, how you manage to get so many vehicles into positions that you can't move them. You see, even this field isn't fully grown. I was expecting it to be, so I'm going to wait with this one because there's no need to cut this field before it's fully grown. That can wait till next month. What we need here is a tractor. And we're short tractors at this end. What have we got in terms of cultivators? Oop. No cultivators over there. A Mike Myers moment. Yes, absolutely so. What is... I'm sure we have somewhere. I just don't know where it is. A cultivator. Huh. Look down here. Maybe I'm just going crazy. Farm Sim Brisco, how are you? No, we do have a cultivator. Show me the cultivator. It's up in the other yard. Of course it is. So... let us see, what have we got in the other yard? All our tractors that are hard at work today. Okay, so there he is. How many ergs does that cultivator require? 180. So it needs one of the vehicles that I do not have here. Let us just check by any chance. No, 61 and 62 do not need ploughing, so we just want the cultivator, which means use you to drive it to the other. Or have you not got enough weight on? We'll find out in a minute. I know you can't run it, but can you tow it? Yep. So if we send you to what is it, field 62. Okay, go that way then. So did you do another marathon session, Farm Sim Brisco? For those that don't watch Farm Sim Brisco's Discord, he was put an 18-hour session into his Saxthorpe map, the upcoming special that he's working on, and screenshots look pretty good. Not that that's any great surprise. So we don't need you. You're doing okay. What we might as well do, you are also doing okay. We might as well pick some of this up while we wait for the cultivator to get here. Why can't I? That's better. We'll steer around the corner. Wow, you've kicked this one out in record time, Farm Sim Brisco. A regular map producing machine. Yes, it is Saxthorpe that he's talking about. That's positively speedy. Oh, that's good. And if you're happy with the quality, it'll be outstanding. I wonder if the Putneys have got any cousins up near Saxthorpe. I think Mars' brother could be a potato farmer from up round there somewhere. The legend lives on, you think? Well, they're busily building an empire here. You know, we've got to be a serious operation. We've got 2 beet harvesters, powered ones. Haven't done more than well, in fact, we haven't even done our own field of beets yet. Just opportunity that we couldn't go by when they came up in the store. We've got our first field of beets in the ground in field 64, so the contracts have been very kind to us, I must say. That's made a big difference. I'm going to leave that. We'll go back this way. Well, apart from the fact that it's taken half a year to grow, the grass has worked fairly well as a cover crop, so it's not too bad. Oh, that's interesting. Are they? Well, they're likely to be directory references of some sort, I guess, that aren't that get broken when it zips. Just be a matter of, I presume, just chasing them down, which could no doubt be time consuming. Okay, so our cultivator has arrived at the gates. We'll empty this into the bunker and then get the big tractor going, cultivating the field next door. Yeah, it makes a big difference once you know where to look. I still managed to trip myself up fairly regularly. Although I'm much better with mods now, I'm much more confident. I had good fun learning a little bit about textures so that I could build the Gilles farm on the valley challenge. So if any of you that are watching the series of playing on there at all, and you go to that yard next to the sugar factory, you'll notice that there's an extra shed that I disappeared, and back in its place I added the cow barn that I'm using. But of course the cow barn is just a standard mod from Mod Hub, and I had to figure out how to retexture it a little bit so that it blended in with the yard, which I'd never done before. So That took a little bit of fiddling around, but I'm quite happy with the effect. The main thing was just to try and make the roof look the same. Look, we're full here. So I won't pretend I'm all over that. I know what I was doing to change it, but it wasn't completely the right way. It was a bit kludgy. I wanted to actually make the walls the same as well, but I couldn't, they weren't as glaringly wrong, particularly as they were sort of half plastered anyway. And it was amazing the positive difference it made by matching the tile on the roof. Right, we can empty you out. Well, we can empty you out there. We might back up a little bit. No, come on, you go. You want to? No, you don't. There, oh, almost bumped it up. Not quite. Thank you, John. Absolutely, it's only a personal use. I'm not even sure I'm skilled enough to be able to show you in a stream how I did it. I can walk through the general process, but there was quite a lot of trial and error involved. Now what I'm going to do, actually before I forget, let's put some more silage additive in. And right, yeah, now we want to go back and get that cultivator. It's like our two planting contracts, or planting and seeding contracts, are coming along. Let's pop you in there. Let's try not to get you in the hedge. You can go up to the other yard. Where are we? It's as good a spot as any. Right. Now square it up. And duck you in here. 5 meters. was one tool. 4 headlands is a good idea. Generate that. That'll work. You're going to run up the other end. You can do that. Looks like it's Penny driving, so with the door open as well, Jason. He hasn't bothered to shut it. Must be an aircon issue. As you said. Okay, that's all good. So, trucking along all right. Field 11 is progressing, so we don't need to worry about that. I did tidy up the auto drive courses here just a little bit and move equipment into the sheds that we put in last time, which gives us a shed, which is a convenient place to park tractors out of the way. No worries, John. Now, we'll go and get that bale that I keep forgetting. For those that missed it, I had a problem loading a trailer last week, and we managed to distribute bales along the road to the store, or to Fisher's Bale Sale specifically, and that was one that I failed to clean up. Right, that's easy. I do love that bale storage utility that they put in, that you can add to sheds and things, and the different features. The one on the valley that's in the main farm is really nicely done, where it puts all the bales up in the mezzanine loft. Right, now, did we have any more contracts pop up? I doubt it, but we'll just have a look. Not that we can take any until we finish something. No, just the ones we have. We don't want to do that at the moment. The cows are fine. We don't need anything with the trucks. You're doing exactly the job we want you to do. Let's check in on... You're about to run out of sunflower seeds. Oh, well, that's always important. We can't have you peeing in a bottle in your lounge room. It's interesting. Why did it miss a couple of spots? Must be a bit bumpy in the field there. Because it's maintained all right. Looks like we got Ringo in the fence today. And the next load should finish this off, which will be good. I'm very happy with how the pair of horse planters have worked out for us. They're just the right size for the fields. Like on a big field working in tandem, they're quick. They don't need a monster tractor, just a medium size. And the 2 contracts that we're working with them basically paid for them, so working really well. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, the field looks right now. So, back over here. That planted, correct. What's that? That's just a big bag lifter for the wheel loader. Okay. 5 meter subsoiler. We don't need another one of those, although it just a lot of money for 18 meters. We definitely don't need cotton. Huge, but not required. Our fields are a bit beyond that chap. Now, an electric version of that would be ideal for Gilles on the valley. And we don't need the mixing wagon. Well, we could do with the bigger one, but that's not the one we'll go for. We only have 1 piece of leased equipment. Everything else we own. And the only reason we have that leased is because we had a lot of issues with it. And I think I sold it and rebought it a couple of times before I decided to, when I fixed it, fix the price. I figured we'd comfortably paid for it several times over. Oh, that's what we need to do. Just get rid of those ramps because they are shockers. Where are they hiding? Over here. These are a great idea, but they don't work properly. They're almost impossible to use because the physics of them doesn't work. As soon as you try and drive a vehicle on, the vehicle just slides off. They're like ice skates. Or they slide off the trailer you're trying to attach them to. How do why can't I select them? Or do I have to take them to a thing to sell them? I'll put them to the side. Mods list. Do you mean the mods list in here? As in this mods list, or do you mean the one associated with my save game in the mod switcher? The mod switcher one. Okay. I'll still scroll through that in case anybody wants to know. Now, the mod switcher one is over here somewhere. Let's just make that full screen and Do that. And desktop transition. So there's the oaks, and here is the list, and there are a bazillion mods on there. And I would observe, so one of the things I'd say is I've been having trouble over since 1.9 basically. Yeah, I figured that was the case. I'll just scroll all the way to the bottom. As you can see, there are hundreds of mods in this save. But since 1.9, I'd been getting increasing numbers of intermittent style problems. I found making sure that I only had one type of autosave mod helped. And you can see I'm still going, right? So there's heaps of mods in this save. And I'm not getting any errors at the moment, but I have had to take out a few things. I'm just trying to remember what I disabled in the last week. God, we're still going down. Realise it's not the most riveting TV, but oh, there we go. That's the bottom. So that should all be there for you, John, if you need it. Let's go back to there and have a look at the game. All right, you're back, and for some reason you won't fill up at this. That's very interesting. I'm sure you did that successfully the other day. Oh, it's because it wants to put fertilizer in it, I suspect. Get out of there. Come on. Too close. Come on. Don't want you to go. You are full. Right, after that little bit of don't get hooked on the gate. No, thank you. You're at 87 and you're at 73. Let's see here. You're coming back to fill as well. You should fill more successfully. You're going, everybody needs to fill. You've just filled. And you're stuck. For those that joined us late, I couldn't resist another deal in the store. This is the big brother to the sugar beet harvester that we bought the other day. I decided that we couldn't have one without having two. It's very much a case of go big or go home. So we do own the sugar factory, of course, so it just makes sense, I think. We've got 5 Putney children. We can go seriously into sugar beet now. I could crab in there, but I'm not going to bother. That'll do us. Fantastic. We've got a big yellow garage. Now, where are we heading to? We are... Nothing significant happening in here. That's where we put the planters at the end of the planting season. Yeah, I now need 2 headers. That is correct. And they're different sizes. So we'll just add that to the shopping list. You never know. We might be lucky. One might come up in the sale. But I'm pretty excited about the amount of sugar beet we'll be able to harvest. And these 3 fields, we've, for those that aren't keeping up with our decisions, so we've got sugar beet. Oh, we've got weeds too. So we might go and get rid of the weeds. We've got sugar beet in 69 and we're putting sugar beet into 61 and 62. So we'll have 3 fields of sugar beet. So what we might do now that I've just spotted those weeds is grab you. And the hoe. And you'll just do quite nicely if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure it'll be a hoe job. I may be wrong. We'll check. There's certainly weeds in there. They look medium size. Small weeds. That's annoying. It's all small weeds, okay. In that case, we'll go and get the small weed weeder. Yes. CSR is the big sugar brand here these days. Here in Australia, that is. Okay, let's put you back. Now, the question is, can you actually run the big weeder? There is a weeder somewhere. 60 horses, you should be fine. Now that everything's laid out neatly in our fancy new shed, we can actually get to it without moving 15 pieces of equipment. That's good. Let's try unfolding you. And we want to go to there. 6 meters. One. Let's. Oops, too many. 3 headlands should be plenty. Start on the centers. Generate me a course. Shouldn't be that hard. Why are you not generating me a course? British sugar. Okay. Why am I not getting a course? You shouldn't be the 215. That is very odd. That was a bug. That was definitely a bug. So it did give me a course. It just didn't take me back to it. Okay. Let's go to first waypoint. Futrottle. Turn that off. Now where are we up to? Just going to see where he starts, and then we'll go back to the 215 and see if I've messed up my cultivator. Because somehow it jumped from this to the cultivator tractor. He's in the right spot. He's 3 headlands in and he's pulling weeds, so that's what we want there. Let's go up. Can I get there? I can't jump to those anymore. No, you're all right. You're just finishing, as it turns out. Very odd. Very odd. That's interesting, John. That's the first time I've noticed that problem. I'm just running down here. That won't help you eliminate some of those little bugs, Farm Sim Brisco, because that'll keep tripping giants or the main game up quite regularly. So what we want to do now is park you neatly in the corner of the next field and pick up the rest of this Might just park you around here. Go and get the rest of this grass collected. Yeah, I can only imagine how many thousands of times you've done some of those actions, FSB. I've certainly had more than one occasion just with doing little edits of mods where I've realised I've zipped it to the wrong name and well, that's good. Keep knocking those issues off. Now, are we down and on? We're not the best to turn the pickup header on the street, but I'm in a rush. We get this guy on the end. You've only got to watch a few of FSG's streams and episodes to know how frustrated he gets with the "is it on console" question. Either that or a few of Mr. Silly P's. Every now and again he goes on a rant because people in his comments have accused him of playing on PC. It's like apart from the fact that you put sell points on the edge so that they don't take up as much real estate. But yes, when it's actually a real place, you kind of, you got to go with it a bit. The stuff is where it is. I'm sure some people just like to complain about things. Do you have more churches on Saxthorpe? I didn't notice in the version you sent me whether there was anywhere that looked like it was going to be a church. I think that's an excellent answer, FSB. Yeah, well, it looks like it belongs in pretty much any English countryside, so it's not surprising, I don't think. Did you end up going with the shop in the dealership in the corner, like you had it sort of penciled? I can't remember if you told me that was its final position or whether you were still thinking about it. Yeah, the ones I get a little bit disappointed in, John, are where, you know, a map maker's gone to a lot of trouble to build a different locale and then's used a base game asset but hasn't changed the label, you know, so you get a hot Belleron label somewhere in, you know, eastern Germany. It's kind of like, having done it, it's not that difficult just to skin it, you know, or put a decal over it to give it a new name. It's not that hard. And it makes all the difference to the immersion. Are you thinking to put like another commercial building, like a sell point or something there, or are you want to use it for something else, or a government building? What's running through your head? An agricultural college, maybe, you know. The big vet hospital. Almost got all this grass off. I'm surprised with all the configuration options that buying and fitting tires aren't a thing. You know, that you don't have a, I don't know what that equivalence would be, but a, you know, a tire mart business that, you know, when you get punctures and the like, you actually have to go and get new tires, whether it's buy them on a trailer and bring them back to your workshop to fit them or whatever you have to do. Just seems to me that should be a thing. Whoops, we're full. Could always put a roller coaster in. I know where they've buried one. And for those that watch the stream that have no clue what I'm on about, you'll have to look at my Silver Run series. Very good. Sort of 7 Days to Die meets Farm Sim. Was that what you were going for? Oh. That's it. Come on. Back up there. How much have we got in here? 200,000 litres. Right, let's just go get the last of this grass. There's our weeding going. It's not too bad. There, strip across there and a couple at the bottom and we're done. Good job. So in 9.5 hours time, of course, we'll be back on Newlands. Moved on a month or two through the winter. Two placeables not loading in the zipped up version. Ah, yep, capitalization will do it. Grant. Is that a Vegemite symbol? Your icon, or is it actually a smiley face? At a distance, very small in my chat, it looks like a distorted jar of Vegemite, but I could be reading it completely wrong, Grant. Great to have you in. Oh, and while I think of it, I would like to a big thank you to everyone both in the chat and that watch this on replay. It's not a big deal to any of you, I'm sure, but it is a big deal to me. So today I clicked over 4,000 viewed hours on YouTube, so you've all in your own way contributed to watching some of the stuff I put out. And I never well, I didn't really know I would ever get to 4,000. I thought that would be the much harder metric that YouTube uses to achieve. Turns out I was completely wrong. Getting subscriptions seems to be much harder than getting people to watch stuff. But nonetheless, thank you very much for watching. So yeah, 4,000 hours consumed. Which, when you think about it, some crazy Aussie guy making kitsch stories about a game called Farm Sim strikes me as somewhat ironic. But there you go. Bit of fun for everyone. That's it. Doesn't really mean very much. It's not like anything changes. It was just a target that I set myself more than anything. What's a target that YouTube measure, but nothing changes as a result of hitting it until, and if one day we end up with 1,000 subscriptions, and then I can move to the next stage in their process, but that's a ways off, I think. I'll need a few more ideas for content to get to that. Now we're almost done here, which is good. We'll get this. Was that 283 litres the amount that was in the corner, was it, John? I didn't... we'll get this one on the way past. That's cool. Oh well, you'll get a big boost if you manage to successfully navigate the Giants process and get Saxthorpe on Mod Hub. I would expect that'll get you a big jump up. Because people will connect just to see what you're up to, and for good reason. Right, we can turn you off. Oh, let's get that little lump. There we go. Now, yeah, you still get some lunatics in there. I haven't bothered to... I do have a Discord channel. I haven't bothered to advertise it. I think there's enough places to chat. So I'll just pop you here for now. Let's go and get that. 8750 has left the course. That's not a good sign. Which one has left the course? Oh, it's invaluable, and I try and pop in there fairly regularly in case just the difference in time zone, I can help out someone. I was chatting to a guy the other day who'd gotten himself a bit tangled up, I think. So yes, for maps, I think it's an excellent thing to do, and to have. I think for content creators it's useful. It's just you need to have a bigger audience than I've got to make it sensible. Now what we want to do here is turn that off there. Go here, find it, generate the course. Yeah, that'll do. And start that. Now, okay, so it wasn't you that fell off the field, because you're all just about, even if you have missed something. How are you missing that edge? That strikes me as particularly odd. Never mind, we'll come back. At least with weeds you can tell where he has a cut. You're still going, and it looks like you're on the headland, so that's good. And what are you doing? You've got no... What are you doing out here? You've got no seed, but you haven't gone back to get any. It's very strange. Drive to load. That's because you're set on pick up and deliver. Rather than, how did you get changed? You should be on that. That's very odd. We haven't touched that tractor. And you have just stopped because you can. Well, you're the guy that lost the field, aren't you? This guy doesn't need a fill. He's got 500. Well, he does need a fill, but he's got 592 litres left. And the last one did need filling, but what I couldn't understand is why he'd successfully filled the time before and he'd somehow changed his mode. So this guy had turned around and gotten stuck. Something weird going on with autodrive. I don't know what it is. So he should be on for that bit there. Are you not running? Let's just see here. I'm pretty convinced that the last update, yeah, he's about half broken, but that's not the, this has got the precision farming sprayer on it. And what's really interesting is the field's almost finished, so we're at 98%. But it's somehow gotten itself confused. We'll do it manually because it's not normally an issue. I've probably done half a dozen fields with this piece of equipment. I really like it, particularly if you end up on a odd shaped field, because the spot spraying does work properly. You don't waste a heap of fertilizer or herbicide on the bits like this where it's got a jagged edge. So I'll show you what I mean. So I can run across here and it'll spot spray properly. $394 litres is probably not quite going to be enough to get to 100%. Yes, yes, your advice to them is remarkably consistent, and if they just scroll back in the chat, they would have seen you give it to the last 10 people before they came in. And the thing about it is that it works. You know, if you can't, and I get it, some people that technology is very confusing and you don't know whether, you don't want to mess with it if you don't understand it, but it's pretty clear that it works because a lot of people are using it fine. Yeah, well, it's all that special XML you put in that, you know, says if farmer equals John Senior, then corrupt his fields. Almost there, 99%, 200 litres, that should be enough. We'll do the corner. That usually helps. Oop, try and drive in a straight line. A bit wonky. $140 litres, it's gonna be close. But that's the thing though, it's not having the volume of mods. It's, you only need one to conflict. There we go. So we'll use the last of the tank on his field because that just feels like the right thing to do. And then we'll send him back to fill up and get dispatched to the next job. I would start with any script mods that you don't absolutely need, and then read their description, and if they're older than 6 months and they haven't had an update, take those out first. Because I am convinced that there's been a bunch of things that have changed that have affected script mods in the last 6 months, and unless the modders are updating, so I'm just trying to think of the name. There was a settings mod that I used for a while that was really handy. I really quite liked it, but it was quite clear in the middle of last year that it didn't get updated, and it wasn't causing it to fail. It was just a really weird intermittent error. Now we want to be going to send you back to Putney Cow Farm. We're going to need petrol, so let's go to the large petrol tank. That'll be as good a spot as any. Oh, and you want to go the other way. Of course you do. So we can finish the contract on 58, which will be a good spot to leave it, I think. Rightio. Well, given that I'm back again in 9.25 hours on Newlands on that occasion, I'm going to leave it here. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining me tonight. I've appreciated having you in and people to chat with. Love it if some or all of you can come to Newlands in 9.5 hours, but if you can't, I understand. Stay tuned. We'll be back here on the Oaks on Friday morning Australian time, Thursday afternoon, evening US and UK, Europe. But until next time, stay safe everyone, have fun, see ya.